Hey guys! So today I thought that I'd film a video on the Kmart makeup brand that's called OXX Cosmetics. It's this one here. Just because I always walk past it and I'm like, is it even worth the $2 or the $4? I have absolutely no expectations about it. So I thought that why not go and buy everything that my local Kmart sold. So, that's what I did. And in this video, I'm just gonna test it all out for you and see what worked and what didn't. There were some really good things and there were some really not good things at all. So yeah, if you want to see how the Kmart OXX brand performs, then just keep on watching. So the first thing that I'm going to use for this brand is the pore filler. It says that it's a nude. I didn't really see any other shades, so this was the only one I got. Oh god. Okay, so it came out really oily to begin with. Not entirely sure how this is going to be a pore filler because pore fillers are usually more like that kind of silicone feel. But we will try it out. After that first little bit came out, a little bit oily, now it's a lot more silicone feeling. So I think it's just because it's been in this package for so long that it feels quite oily to begin with. But now it does feel a lot more like a pore filler primer should. Yeah, it filled them in very well. The only thing that I will say, still it does feel quite oily even on my fingers still. So maybe if you have oily skin, I probably wouldn't recommend this. Now I'm gonna go in with the foundation. I'm not a big foundation person, but I thought that I'd try this one anyway. I think this was $4. I got it in the shade light. I believe there's also medium and dark, although the Kmart that I was at only had medium, but we'll see how it goes. So this is foundation matte. So that's what it came out as. It feels quite thick, but looks pretty pigmented. So it has already oxidized on my skin. That's a bit unfortunate. I'm still gonna try it on and see how it goes, but just be wary that it goes, from that color to that color, which is not what you want, but also can't expect much from a $2 foundation. As I said before, I'm not a massive foundation person, so I don't really apply it much. So it's really easy to blend, however, it does oxidize, and I can already see that it's kind of attaching to some of the dry bits on my skin, so definitely would not buy this. Even if you are just starting out, there are some better options just at Priceline. They are obviously a little bit more expensive, but I don't think that even the $4 that this was is worth it. So now I'm going to try out the face concealer. I also got this in light. Hopefully it doesn't oxidize as well. And I mainly use concealer for under the eyes, so that is what I'm going to do. Ooh. So that is a lot darker than the foundation shade was, even though it's still light. So I'm not really sure what that's all about, but if this is their lightest shade, if you have pale skin, this would not work out at all. It's just, ooh, that is so orange. Why is it so orange? I mean, it blends out to be not as orange as it originally comes out of the tube, but I'm still concerned that this will also oxidize, which would just not be at all ideal. I just washed my hair, which is why it's looking like this, and it's just going everywhere. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it did become slightly patchy just around this area here, so it definitely is not very buildable and does stick to your dry bits. Another thing I want to mention is it is quite sticky, which is kind of putting me off. I don't really like concealers that are quite sticky. I just want them to be, smooth and beautiful. I think so far I'm most impressed with the primer rather than the concealer or the foundation. Alright, next I'm going to go onto the brows. So obviously all of the actual packaging is just like cheap plastic, which is what you would expect. So I'm going to attempt to use the brush that's in here because why not? Yeah, I think I'm going to go in with these two to do my brows. I'm not the best at brows, so don't judge. It's giving me a little bit of colour. Yeah, I mean, if you're just looking to have really natural filled in brows that are not like full on or anything, I don't think that this is bad. As you can see, like this one looks a lot more done rather than this one, and since I'm going for natural today or every day, that's good. And they're not powdery or patchy or anything, so that's really good. So you definitely get a lot of use out of it. Anyway, so as I said, I'm not great at eyebrows, but I think if you are just looking for some powders to try out and start out with, I actually think these are really good. Probably get a better brush. This brush is quite thick on the top there, so you can't get very precise brows, especially if you have thin brows like me. So definitely invest in a better brush. However, the powders themselves are pretty good, so I'm happy with that one. So now let's move on to the eyeshadow. So this is a quad eyeshadow palette in the shade Joker. It seems to have only glitters in it. I really couldn't find too many shadows that they made that were matte, which is quite unfortunate because I feel like mattes are a lot more easier for me personally to wear. I quite like this nice little compact. I think it's quite travel friendly. It doesn't really clasp onto anything, so I think this would break, but I do like how kind of cute and small it is. I'm gonna start with the lightest shade, quite powdery. I'm gonna switch to this Eco Tools brush in Define and Shade just because I think it's coming off quite patchy with the e.l.f. brush, so I wanna see if it will work with another one. As you can see, it just looks like I'm applying straight glitter onto my eyelid, at least with this white one here, because it does come off quite patchy, but you can build it up, so if that's something that you want to experiment with, then definitely go for it. So I'm going to try this one here now. So they're definitely not very pigmented. The main thing in them is the glitter, I feel like. And this yellow shade that I thought would be a very nice kind of golden is coming off a lot more muddy and kind of with green undertones, so that's a bit strange. Now I'm going to go back to this e.l.f. brush and try the brown one. Very powdery, so definitely make sure you tap it off. So the brown one is definitely the most pigmented out of all of them, but it's definitely not easy to blend. So yeah, I think with my not great eyeshadow skills and also the fact that this is all shimmers, not very pigmented in some colors but pigmented in others, but also very difficult to blend out, I am not a fan of this eyeshadow, and I'm not a fan of what my eyeshadow looks like right now. But yeah, so definitely not worth trying this out, especially because there is also heaps of fallout, so just horrible. It's horrible. Sorry. The next thing that I'm going to try is the bronzer kit. So this is in the shade Sunset. This was the only one they had again, so I'm not entirely sure whether there are any other shades, but I'm guessing hopefully. That's what they look like. So from the very start I can tell that this one has a little bit of shimmer in it, but it's not too much and it doesn't look too glittery, so hopefully this comes out alright. And then this one here is completely matte, so we shall see how it goes. So I think first I'm going to go in with this shade here as a bronzering shade. Not very powdery, which is quite surprising. Can you see a difference? I don't think so. So now I'm going to try this shade here. Just go on a few times because I don't think they're very pigmented. Yeah, so definitely not a lot of pigment in these, so you do have to use quite a lot of product, but at least they're not powdery, so maybe if you are starting out with bronzers as well, or you have very, very pale skin, this would definitely be worth it. I think for this side, I'm just going to mix the two together because who has time for that? So now I'm going to try this powder blush. I actually had 3 shades of this. I got the shade Peach. I think the other one was really, really red. And then another one was really, really pink. So I decided to go for something in between. That is what it looks like. So let's see. Slightly powdery, but not too bad. Oh, seems a bit patchy. I'm going to use my Zoeva 126 Luxe Finish brush and just go, oh. Very powdery. Yeah, I think that actually gave quite a nice little bit of flush to the cheeks. Because it is peach, it does look really natural. So yeah, in terms of the pigmentation, I think this is good. However, it is ridiculously powdery. So you would go through this quite fast. But again, if you're starting out with blush or trying out maybe a new shade that you haven't really tried out before and are not sure whether it'll look good on you, definitely worth trying this one. This is probably the one that I'm the most nervous about trying because I always have really high expectations of how I want my lashes to look. And as you can see, I have completely blood lashes, so it's a really big deal to me about how dark the mascara is and how much volume it gives me and how much length. And considering that I'm not using a liner today, it's also even more important that this mascara does a good job. So it's called the Volumizing Mascara Increase Volume in Black. They also have a blue one and a brown one if you were wanting to try out those shades, but I know that black is the color that I usually go for. I'm a bit concerned it looks quite clunky on here, but here we go. As you can see, that's the difference that it's made up to one coat. I think in terms of the darkness of the black, I'm really happy with that. I don't think it's giving as much volume as a volumizing mascara should. However, it's not horrible right now. I think that It does feel quite clumpy and sticky, which is what mascara should feel like after you've had it for a while. So considering that I just opened it, I'm not quite happy with that. And it does feel really heavy on my eyelashes as well, which I don't really like. Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst mascara that I've ever tried. However, I do think that it's, in this case, is definitely, you get what you pay for. A $2 mascara, this is what I would pretty much expect from it. It feels clumpy, it feels really difficult to apply, it dries really quickly. It doesn't give me much volume or much length, and it makes my lashes clump together, which should definitely not be happening for a brand new mascara. But I think that, yeah, if you're starting out with mascaras and are not really too sure where to go, or maybe if you want to try the other shades, for example, like blue, if you're not, you know, if you just want to experiment, could be worth checking it out. So, I don't know, I'm not really, it's not amazing, it's not horrible, but it's definitely, it's nothing. So now I'm gonna try out the highlighting palette. So it comes with 3 shades. This was the only kind of 3 shades that I could see, so I don't think that they do any more shades than these. Why did I not get scissors? That is what it looks like. So let's just go 1, 2, 3. Ooh, quite pigmented actually. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but that is really pigmented. So let's see. And that comes out really well on my hand as well. I think this one here, at least from these swatches, looks less powdery. The middle one definitely looks like the most powdery one. And then this one here looks the least pigmented. I think I'm gonna try out the middle golden shade. Very glittery as well. If you don't mind the glitter in a highlighter, then definitely worth trying it. I think that overall, if you are trying to get into highlighters and you want to try out with something cheap first, this is a pretty good palette. Or if you need some out there shades that are really pigmented, I definitely think these could be worth checking out. So pretty happy with that. And so finally, I have the 3 lip products here. But I think that I'm going to try out the nude one first. So this one is called Henry Ford. Yeah. That is quite pigmented. It definitely has good colour payoff as well along my whole lip, and this is without a lip liner, so I am pretty impressed with that. It doesn't make my teeth look yellow, so that's also good. It doesn't feel sticky or tacky in any way. It's really easy and smooth to apply. It's very pigmented, as you can see, so yeah, I'm really happy with that one actually. It's definitely a satin finish. It's not matte, but it's not glossy, and it feels quite comfortable to wear. I can obviously tell that there's something on my lips, but it's not like sticky or in any way really uncomfortable for me anyway. So yeah, definitely check that one out. That's great. Alright, so I'll go in with the lip liner first. This is in nude, but it does look really, really pigmented, so I don't really think this is nude. I am really impressed with this liner. It's very pigmented, very easy to apply. It doesn't feel drying. It has really great pigment. The only thing that I have a problem with is that this isn't nude, so they shouldn't call it nude, but it is an absolutely gorgeous shade, so I'm really happy with that. And for $2, again, I think that's really good. Finally, let's try out the last lipstick. So this is the satin lipstick in Chevrolet? Chevrolet? I don't know. Let's just do it. Cool, so that is a gorgeous deep red. Yeah, so this one is definitely not as pigmented as the first one was, but again, it is still good quality, comes on really smoothly. So if you are maybe looking to try out these kind of more purpley shades, but you don't want to spend a fortune, these $2 lipsticks are definitely a really good way to go. And that is all that I have to try from the Kmart OXX brand. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little bit of a different video from me. And yeah, let me know if you've tried any of these products or if there's any cheap brands out there that you really like, because I'm all about spending less money. So yeah, definitely let me know, and I will see you all next time.